You're listening to Bourbon, Beards, and Belvederes, the podcast where whiskey, cigars, and beard products aren't just a hobby, they're a lifestyle. Hosted by Adam, Paul, and Jerry, three guys with real experience, full beards, and even fuller glasses. Each episode serves up thoughtful tastings, laid-back cigar talk, and honest takes on beard gear and beyond. From top-shelf pours to everyday essentials, this is the place where conversations flow as smooth as the whiskey. So, pour a glass, light one up, and enjoy the ride. This is Bourbon, Beards, and Belvederes.
Welcome to Bourbon, Beards, and Belvederes. I'm Adam.
And I'm Paul.
And I'm Jerry.
And today we've got a very special guest. So we're going to be reviewing this guest product. We may be smoking some things, and we're not really going to talk about any beer products today. Today we've got Ryan from Fire and Flask Distillery. I've been anxious to get this into these guys' hands and get Ryan on. So, Ryan, how are you doing today?
Doing great, thank you.
Great. Glad to have you on. Ryan is a veteran from the Navy, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And what about your wife? Is she a veteran also?
She is not.
Okay.
No, just me.
Well, yeah, I met Ryan at Total Wine in Lexington. It's been some months ago now. I was in there just checking out the aisle as I am wont to do. Didn't see anything that struck my fancy, and I was on my way to the humidor, and Ryan was set up at the end of the aisle. And we got to talking. He had these bottles of bourbon that I'd never seen before, and I'm always interested in trying new things. There's something pretty special about what they do at Fire and Flask. I'll let Ryan talk about that. But like always, I'm going to start out with a palate warmer. I don't know if you guys have something there that you're drinking on. Ryan, you got anything poured up?
Not yet. I will in a second.
All right. I'm going to start with this Heaven Hill Grain Glass rye because it's fantastic. I looked over it was staring at me, so it's gonna wake my palate up quite a bit there. It's 123.2 proof. So shock to the senses, kind of kick it into gear. I believe Ryan's got a glass of his delicious nectar, which we'll talk about in a minute. Jerry, what do you got?
I figured since we're doing this special corn, I'd pull out another corn-heavy bourbon. This is from Chattanooga Whiskey. It's their red, white, and blue grist. Red corn, white corn, and blue corn. So if you mix them together, I'd imagine it would make purple. Well, color purple. Not purple corn, but yeah. So I figured just stick with the corn theme.
I think it'd be more like a lilac, right? Because that white would kind of lighten up the purple.
Yeah. Splitting hairs there.
Well.
Either way, I figured I'd stick with the corn. I didn't want to shock my palate like you with some rye or anything. So.
I thought you were going to. So heavy on the corn there.
I grabbed a little bottle of water that I left out here from our last episode. Gonna wake the palate up with some
corn
nice
water.
47-degree corn water. Yeah, because I left it out here, so it's nice.
Yeah. There might be some of that corn water. How do I put this? Being created as we speak. But always good stuff. Well, without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan. Ryan, tell us a little bit about yourself. Your background, your military service, how you got into the bourbon industry. This is your show. We want to hear everything.
Yeah. So originally I'm from New York. I left for the Navy at 18, never went back. In the Navy, I did a job called mineman, basically underwater explosive specialist is the, cool term. Sounds a lot more exciting than it is.
It sounds pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie.
It basically our job was neutralizing underwater mines. The only thing was nobody's used those since like the Persian Gulf, so we did a lot of training for training's sake.
Okay.
Always ready kind of thing.
I guess it's always possible those could get thrown back into the mix at some point, right?
Well, it was close. It was close. Iran got kind of lippy back in 2012, and we did intercept some intel, and there were some boats intercepted that had them on there. So I almost had to do my job.
Well, it's better to have someone that can do your job and not need them than to need them and not have them, I suppose.
Definitely. So yeah, I did 4 years in the Navy on active duty. I got out off of active duty in 2014, stayed in the reserves for another 7 years. And when I got out, went to college. That's around when I started to like bourbon. Started sipping on stuff. The thing that got me into bourbon was I wound up one day, I was at reserve duty, and I wound up at this speakeasy bar. And they had a fall fashioned, was what they call it. It was an old fashioned with some black walnut bitters, star anise garnish, and a few other little things to make it more fall. And it was one of the most delicious cocktails I've ever had. And that's kind of what led me down the path. I started with old fashions, then I just started drinking it on the rocks, and now I'm at drinking it neat. And yeah, the reason I started this was I love bourbon. One of my favorite things is just how much you can mess with the flavor, still call it bourbon. Different grains, different finishes, all that kind of stuff. And back in like 2014, 2015, there was a lot of that kind of stuff going on. There was a lot of experimental stuff, different finishes, different grains. And then all of a sudden, like it just stopped, and everything became about higher proof, and nobody was really doing a lot of experimental stuff anymore. I mean, now it's starting to pick up again, but it got me thinking like, hey, there's so many different corns out there that no one's doing. I wanted to look into that. And to be clear, I wanted to do this in my garage and just kind of putz around. But my wife got all iffy about it being illegal. So she was like, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it for real. And yeah, that's kind of how it got started. And we had, done several distilleries on the Bourbon Trail, the craft tour as well. And we wound up at a distillery called Second Sight. Did a tour there. It's an awesome place. If you haven't been, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend doing a tour. It's a great story. How they got started and everything. I'm not going to ruin that. But basically, we wound up staying there for hours talking to the owners and stuff, and just kept in touch with them and went in for a few times for different products. So when it came time to like start looking for people to, get this going and started, we reached out to them, and they were kind of the only ones that either didn't slam the door in our face or didn't say, well, you got to make hundreds of gallons a year and commit to all this. And we weren't at that level. We're still not really at that level, but they were the only ones that did that. So we started working with them back in 2023. That's when we officially founded Fire and Flask, and made our first batch September of 23 and dumped that November of 24. And we've been going ever since. The reason we picked what makes us special is our purple corn. And the reason we picked that was I was doing a lot of research, like I said, about the different corns. Jeff the Creed had the red corn. There was blue corn coming out of Texas. And I noticed like there was still things people weren't doing. No one was doing purple. No one was doing green. Things like that. And when I looked more, I was like, well, I really like the color purple. So I looked into it more and found that the few experiments that had been done with it, and also a lot of like home brewing using purple corn, had this like sweet, fruity profile to it. And I was like, well, I really like sweet and fruity bourbons. So that's kind of how we went down that hole and landed on that and decided to pursue that path.
Yeah, well, without getting too much into the weeds on the bourbon itself, as far as what I think about it, I'll just say I'm glad that you did pursue that path, because this is it's totally different, right? I mean, it's you when you look at it on its face and you think it's just the color. That's really all that's different. It's not. That's not the case. And people got to try it to experience it. So anybody that's hearing my voice right now, I highly suggest that you go out and find one. I believe you're in every Total Wine in Kentucky now, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's
as well as the Party Source in Northern Kentucky.
Okay, all right. So yeah, familiar with Party Source too. So the guy that, in case Paul and Jerry don't know, and Ryan, you may not even know this, but the guy that started New Riff used to own the Party Source.
I did not.
Yeah. So he sold that and started New Riff, and generally people that are familiar with bourbon nowadays are familiar with New Riff. They've gathered quite the following, as I'm sure you will. So the purple corn, of course, is very, very unique, and that's one of the things that I really like about it. Of course, I love the flavor, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Transparency is something I really want to point out here, because it's something that we're really big about on this show. We want the cigar industry is one of the most transparent industries out there. Bourbon had these. The bourbon industry has these incredibly strict laws that are applied to it, but not necessarily when it comes to transparency. Some bourbons are transparent completely. Some of them not so much. I would put you in that completely category. We really appreciate in a beard product as well. I don't know if you use beard products, but clearly our beard's a little bigger than yours is. And, we use oils, we use balms. Sometimes we use butters. I don't care for the butter so much, but anyway, the knowing what I'm putting on my face is great. Knowing what I'm putting in my face is better, right? Because it's going into my body. I'm looking at the back of the bottle right now. It's got the batch number, the age. So it does have an age statement on it. It's got the char level, and it's got the recipe: 75% corn, 15% rye, 10% malted barley. It's just a great product. And to go back to what you mentioned about Jeff and Creed with the red corn, these two guys don't know yet, and they will find out, but I'm not going to tell them who right now. But there is another company that I know of and they know of that's now producing a premium bourbon with red corn. It's not something that you got to know that it exists and go to the distillery and ask them for it. So you can't just buy it anywhere. You guys will get some because I have a bottle, but I'm not going to tell you. You're not going to find out until it's time to find out. So at any rate, So what about the name? It makes sense, Fire and Flask, but how did you settle on that for the name?
That was, I want to say it was a couple months of going back and forth on stuff. We wanted to figure out what we wanted to put into the theme of the distillery. We tossed around names like that were more Navy themed, but really like when we thought about them and said them out loud, it's like, rum comes to mind more than bourbon. But something about me, I do glass blowing as a hobby.
Okay.
And that I decided was something I would like to work into the brand. So then we started going down that path, and we settled on Fire and Flask because, it just made sense. Fire for, the molten glass, working with it and everything, and then Flask pretty obvious with the bourbon. And we incorporated some elements of that into our logo. I mean, you may not know, but if you look on the front, those they're actually crossed blowpipes with
Yeah,
a
yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
bottle of glass on there. So that's how we came up with that name. And I forget what the other ones were. We did like a poll with all of our friends and stuff, and was like, "Hey, which one do you like more?" And this was what everybody liked. I liked it. I thought it was cool. So
You know, I like the label because it's simple, and at the same time, there's some stuff going on there. Like, it catches your eye, but it's not overly flashy about it. You know what I mean? I like the black and white, the simplicity of it. But you, like you said, you got the glass pipes, you got the flask, which I don't know if you've considered. I'm sure you have, producing an exact model of the flask that's on this bottle and selling that as merch. That would probably go over pretty well.
we have it's something that's on the table. It's just merch. You got to order it by the bulk, and our name just ain't out there enough yet
Sure.
to warrant, custom ordering a flask.
We could put you in touch with the guy that actually was on this show, and he's produced flasks, barrel heads, cigar holders, all kinds of stuff for us. And he's got a laser engraver, and he does that's, he's a veteran as well. He's an Air Force veteran. He's up in Ohio. So it's really, I mean, he's closer to you than he is to me. But he's a really good dude. His name's Randy Sherlin. Hopefully he's listening. If not, I'm going to poke at him anyway. But he's a really good dude. He makes really cool stuff. So, if you had some interest in that, then we could put you in touch. Definitely. He won't do you wrong. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We'll make sure that happens. So one thing I did want to bring up, you mentioned doing it in your garage. Two things to that. I may or may not have shown up to a party with some peach brandy, and the person that was having the party told on me to an FBI agent who was sitting right there, and the FBI agent said, "We don't give a fuck." As long as you're not mass producing it in major quantities and then running across state lines, nobody gives a shit. The police it's gonna cost them more money to process you than they're gonna make. So
I made that same argument to my wife, but she didn't go for it.
The other aspect of that is I'm not sure if you're aware, but last July, a federal judge in Texas struck down the ban against producing your own liquor at home. He said that it was unconstitutional, and that the federal government's argument for taxation didn't hold water. He put a 2-week stay on his judgment just for the federal government to come back and appeal, and right now it's tied up in the appeals process. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, he said the prohibition against producing your own for personal use is unconstitutional. So, and what they would define as personal use, who knows? But hopefully the federal government loses that appeal, and it becomes federally. You can make your own bourbon or your own beer and wine at home. Why not make your own liquor? But and don't think that there's any way that would put any kind of dent in the actual liquor industry. So I don't think that producers, even as small as yourself or as big as Jim Beam, are ever going to feel the effects of that. There might be some guys that can get an easier start and get out there a little easier. That might have helped you get out there just a little bit easier if you'd have had that ability to do so.
Oh, definitely.
So, so how long did you serve in the Navy? I forgot. You said you left when you were 18. You got out when you were...
I did 4 years active and 7 years in the reserves, so 11
Okay.
years total.
Okay. And so what year was it that you joined?
2010.
Okay. Okay. And did you deploy at all?
Yep, I spent a better part of 2 years over in the Middle East, in the Persian Gulf.
Okay. Okay. That sounds terrible. But thank you just the same.
Thank you.
And then what did you study in college?
I actually studied criminology, and criminology and justice studies was the title of my degree. I
Okay.
do absolutely nothing with it other than being able to put on job applications that I have a degree.
Sure. I'm a student at UK in the criminal justice program right now. And I have several degrees within the IT field, which is my day job. And I don't need one of them. I don't need one of those damn degrees. None of them guarantee me a higher position, more pay, promotions. None of it. I didn't need one of them. So now I've got all this student debt and 4 pieces of paper that I didn't need. So ridiculous, but that's interesting. Criminology. So yeah. So where is Fire and Flask based out of?
It's based out of my house here with my lovely child's toys and stuff in Independence, Kentucky.
Okay. And so do you distill this yourself, or or is there a distillery somewhere that you use that distills a recipe for you?
We use 2 distilleries. We do everything through contract. We work with Second Sight, as I said earlier, and then we also work with Neely Family Distillery.
Awesome. We're big fans of Neely here. And now clearly we're big fans of Second Sight as well. I don't know that I've had anything from that distillery until now. So tell us about, and I'm going to botch this, especially because I can't read it in this dark garage. Didymium?
Yep. So basically the definitions on the back, didymium is a purple glass that's used in glass blowing as safety glasses because it actually filters out certain wavelengths of light that are damaging as the glass heats up and everything. So I like to say, kind of corny, but it helps filter out the other bottles on the shelf. Our bourbon.
It does. That flashy purple didymium across the bottom there, that really does stick out in better lighting. My garage.
We're working on that too. This is label V1. We're gonna have hi cat. We're gonna have label V2 at some point. So everything is a work in progress. It's one of the biggest problems, and I've talked to the guys at Second Sight about this. There's very few things out there for the little guy. When you go to a lot of these label manufacturers, it's like, oh, you have to order by the thousands. Like one label manufacturer wouldn't even talk to us unless our order was 10,000. I'm like,
oh my goodness,
I don't need 10,000 right now. So,
if you had bought 10,000, you wouldn't need any for 5 years. So I mean,
but then we'd be stuck with where we're at, and we've already thought of ways to improve upon it.
True.
So we went with 1,000. 1,000 is what we started with, and then after that 1,000, we're actually moving over to a print or what is it? Print screening or screen printing on the bottles, because these clear labels are a royal pain to put on.
For sure. So I know, knowing Jerry and Paul, they've got some questions too. So I'm gonna shut up and let them ask you some things.
Yeah.
So, are you just doing the one recipe right now?
Yeah, I have 2 other recipes that I would love to start doing. I just don't have the funds to do 3 products at once right now, or the capacity with the distillers that we're working with, But so for now, it's just the one recipe.
Now, you say you have a couple more in mind. Are they going to be bourbons or whiskeys as well? Or are you?
Yep, they are also bourbon. I forget what batch do you guys have again?
This is batch 3.
3. Okay, so basically, batch 2 and batch 4 were really great one-offs that I'd like to bring back as permanent products. Batch 2 was like a really great winter whiskey. We swapped the malt and the rye, and it just gave a lot of baking spice, a lot of warmness, a little bit of nuttiness. So we want to make that like a yearly release when we get to that point as like a winter whiskey. And then batch 4, it's the same mash bill that you got now, but it's a char 4. And it just gave some great notes of like dark brown sugar and coffee. And I think that would be a fun one to also have as a permanent product.
So with you got 4 different batches. All of
We're
them
on
are
6 actually.
Well, on the website, it has the 4 different batches. You have the 80-15-5, the 85-15, and then the 2 75-15-10s, the char 3 and 4. Was that intentional to try to do like a different like mash bill batch, or I guess different thing each batch, or was it just like kind of experiment and see what happens?
A little bit of both, kind of, a little bit of both. And thanks for reminding me that I need to add batch 5 and now batch 6 to the website. But yeah, we, you got to figure out, especially when dealing with a new product like this, you got to figure out, hello again, Kat, what works, what doesn't. And you got to figure out like just what the corn is going to do. So we knew that like we couldn't make small enough batches just to do one-offs and be like, oh, this one's good. And, we're still producing at, 20 plus gallons a batch. So rather than sit on 20 gallons of product and let it go to waste, or having to, having more bourbon than I would know what to do with in my lifetime, it was easier to release that to the public as one-offs as we figured it out. We never release a bad product, obviously. Like, they all tasted good, but we had to really like hammer down what was a good recipe, what's going to get us the most yield. And what we actually settled on was our 5th batch recipe, which is 78% corn, 15% rye, and 7% malt. And we wound up there because 7% is kind of the minimum malt that you need to get really good fermentation. And rather than having to rely on adding like amylase and other enzymes to it, we wanted to make sure that we were at least getting good fermentation just from the mash itself. So that's why we took the corn, the 2% corn off of our first batch, which I think is probably our most popular one. We took that off and put it on the malt, and that's just kind of where we landed with our final recipe. But yeah, it was a way to experiment with the corn itself, figure out what works, what's good, what people said about it. And it was also just really fun because every batch, like, you think it would just be a little different, but no, like, the differences were huge.
Yeah.
Especially batch 4, which if that's still on the shelves at Total Wine, I'd tell you to run and get it, because that char 4, it's the same exact mash bill you got, but that char 4 changed it entirely. And it just really, really was good. But yeah, it was just really fun and cool to see how that works. And on such a small scale, comparatively to like the big guys, of making a batch here saying, oh, this is good, this has this notes, and then going to the next one, oh, this one has completely different notes, or it's similar notes but more, this one has more like a sugar, this one has more of the fruit. So yeah, it was really fun.
So
Yeah.
you'd be interested to know, I looked it up on Total Wine just to see if batch 4 was available, or if it would tell on the website, and as I predicted in my own head, it does not tell you. They do have Fire and Flask in stock, but you'd be interested to know that listed in the frequently bought together is your bourbon and Hectare's THC 5 milligram stone fruit soda. So
That's going to be a fun time.
Someone's making some hell of cocktails there.
That's a good night.
But what I'm hearing, Adam, is next time you're around Total Wine, see if they have batch 4. We have to do a little side by side.
For sure. I'll definitely have a look. It's been a while. I don't get over there too much anymore. I've become one of those folks that I've got so many damn bottles in my house that it's hard for me to justify going to the store to buy more. Because I don't even have a place to put it. I've literally run out of room to put all of my bourbon. So I'm going to have to wait until at least my next bottle kill before I go searching again. I got a bottle called Tears of the Left.
I saw that one.
Yeah, it's produced by Rob Schneider. And I got that in the other day, and that literally took up because it comes in this nice fold-out box, and it took up all the room that I had left in the last bit of storage that I had for my bourbon. So until I get a little more room, I'm pretty much done. But I will go up there and look.
I would look because there's probably not a ton of it left at this point.
Fair.
Because we've already released batch 5, and I know here at Party Source, I can't check Total Wine as much, but at Party Source, it's all batch 5 on the shelf. I think batch 4 is gone there. So, and we just dumped batch 6. I don't know when that'll actually make it through my distributor and hit shelves. It is at Second Sight right now, but that's a bit of a trek for you guys.
Well, I'm in the area tomorrow, so there is that. I mean, a Second Sight. How far from Florence is Second Sight?
20 minutes, if that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So it couldn't be too far. So yeah, I mean that's definitely a possibility. If I can work out the logistics, maybe I'll swing by there and check that out.
Yeah, at the very least, check out the place. Like, it's awesome. They have a really cool bar. Their whole their brand is more of like, futurism, Second Sight. So they have a lot of cool stuff in that. They got like a full-size Zoltar. Remember that from Big?
Hell yes.
Yeah, they got one of those in there. I think it works. I'm not sure. I've never actually put a coin in there.
That's if it works, it's dope. I mean, either way, it's pretty awesome. But if it works, it's dope for sure.
And they're still, like, I won't ruin the surprise, but they're still definitely the way they did it plays into their brand very well. So at the very least, I would check out the place. Getting a bottle of batch 6 is just the cherry on top.
I don't know if you mentioned it or if I just kind of didn't hear. Is batch 5 and 6 the same?
No, batch 6, we again messed with the char level. It's the same recipe. It's that 78-15-7, but we did a batch 2 or a batch 2, char 2 on this one.
I've never had a char 2.
Yeah,
I've
I've had 1s, 3s, and 4s. I don't know if
I've had a 1. It's usually a 3 or 4.
Usually it's 3 or 4. We wanted to mess around with stuff.
There's distilleries around here that'll use 1 just because we're in Florida, so you try to not get as much of that barrel influence or that char influence when it's so damn hot here. So they'll mess with 1 char, and it's St. Augustine Distillery is
big fan of them.
They're starting to use batch 1, char 1, I believe.
I'm a big fan of St. Augustine Distillery.
I wasn't until recently, and then I was talking to a buddy, and he said they changed. It's either 1 or 2. I think it's 1. Change it to char, and I was like, that might be it. I was like, I didn't like them at first, but I'm starting to come around to them, and I think it's because they changed the char level on the barrels. So
could be. I would imagine in the Florida heat, and you're not getting that like cold winter. It probably is getting a lot of wood interaction that it's
and
not getting here.
They're not too far from the water, but they're still surrounded by buildings, so they're not getting that that cooler air from the water. So yeah, it's nice now. It was 67 when we started this. It's probably dropped a little bit, but we've been in the 80s and 90s the last couple of days. It feels like. So, are you? I saw on the website you had is it the Gaffer collection?
Yeah.
Is that
So
something you're gonna? Did I say that right?
You did. Gaffer is a head glass blower. They're basically the ones that run a project. So we wanted that to, be like our experimental, our limited edition line. We made our first one of those with amaranth in the mash bill. It's got 20% amaranth in there, and we don't know. We're super excited to see what that becomes. That's going to sit for at least one more year before we even start tasting it.
Was there a specific reason you went with that grain, or was it just kind of like let's experiment and see what it does?
Yeah. So I actually wanted to do a grain called
Triticale?
Yeah, that's like a wheat hybrid.
It's like a wheat rye hybrid. Yeah.
I wanted to do that, and my grain supplier was like, "You have to order that by the pallet." And I'm like, "Oh, no." And then he's like, "But I have like 100 and something pounds of amaranth that somebody never picked up." And I was like, "Well, I've never heard of that." Full steam ahead.
Yeah, I saw that, and I think there's only one other whiskey that I've seen use that, and I think that was the Buffalo Trace E.H. Taylor, one of their limited batches, and that thing went for crazy money. It's just one of those grains you don't hear much. One of our buddies, who was it? Is it Ben Dickman that had the whiskey with triticale in it?
That sounds right.
And I know I had a sample. I'm sure these guys did. I liked it a lot. I don't remember exactly what the distillery or anything else was. I just remember liking the whiskey.
I believe it was the same one that made the damn whiskey, the turkey whiskey, and the beaver butt juice.
Tamworth?
Yeah.
Could be. I don't remember. There's so many little smaller distilleries up north.
I tried what was it, Redwood Empire, their Grizzly something. But it had that in there, and I really loved that whiskey. So I was like, I'd love to put this in my whiskey. And at some point, I will.
Well, speaking of your whiskey, it's time to talk about it. And we can go back to questions here in a little bit. I'm sure there's a lot more to talk about, and we want to hear every bit of it. But this whiskey is,
fantastic.
It is, and it's hitting a lot of. I'm getting brown sugar on the nose. I'm getting a little bit of a savory note that I pick up from time to time that I really, really like, which is weird. It's like a spaghetti sauce kind of savory. I don't know why I picked that up. Bear in mind, I have a deviated septum with 90% blockage on my left side, so my smeller's a little fucked up. But
there's no wrong answers.
Yeah, I get some stone fruit on there, like some plum, on the nose, and then when I drink some of it, I'm gonna have a drink just to make sure that I'm right about this, because that's what I need to do. I get leather notes, strong leather notes. I get a sweet, fruity note, but it's not a stone fruit, but it's not like it's not like a plum. It might be a stone fruit. It's not like a plum, but it's also not like a cherry. It's not a peach, and I wouldn't say it's apple. There's something in there that I can't put my finger on. But this cigar, this is a medium cigar. It's called Fiat Lux. Okay, it's by Luciano Cigars.
I almost pulled that one out.
It's one I haven't had in a while. It's a great cigar. I prefer Maduro's darker cigars. I like you mentioned everybody was doing foolproof whiskeys. I'm a very big fan of foolproof. I have so many foolproof whiskeys. There's a bunch of them behind me there that you can see. I love full flavors, foolproof whiskey. rare steak, black coffee, all those things. So Maduros are usually my way to go. This is not that. However, when I hit this and then take a drink of that whiskey, it is the perfect coffee. And it's not often, generally it's either coffee's really good or it's really bad. It's got all this shit in it to make it taste good, whatever, or it's burnt. There's rarely an in between. That is the perfect coffee flavor, and that's all that I get when I hit it with the cigar. And the thing is, one of the things that we found on this show, because when we sat out on this, Jerry and I smoked cigars. We didn't really know shit about them. Paul didn't smoke cigars at all until this show. But if the cigar and the whiskey don't detract from each other, if they complement each other, that's a great pairing, right? And we don't go into this doing any kind of homework as far as we're going to talk about this whiskey and this cigar because we've tried them already and they're fantastic together. Usually oftentimes we don't even know what the hell we're drinking or smoking or even talking about until about 30 minutes before we get on to record. We're as disorganized as we can possibly be and have been since the inception of the show. Paul and I, when we started it, we would set things out ahead of time. And then when Jerry joined, we were still doing that. And then over the course of 2 years, we're just like, what are we talking about? I don't know. Let's figure something out. Let's throw it all together real quick. This cigar or any cigar of this caliber with that whiskey is the perfect coffee. It is absolutely fantastic. And I can't say anything good enough about your whiskey. This is a great product.
Thank you.
Yeah, for me, I was getting like caramel corn and honey with a little bit of baking spices on the nose. A lot of that carried into the palate. But I was also getting like a sweet nut, almost like a macadamia or I don't know, like walnut or something. One of those like sweeter nuts in there.
I do like walnuts. I could see that.
And then on the finish is like I got a little bit of that fruitiness on the palate, but the finish is where that fruitiness Adam was talking about popped out. I was thinking like a fig, but I don't know. I'm smoking a West Tampa Red and just Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Nicaraguan inside, I believe. Smoked a cigar, went to the whiskey, and all those fruity berry flavors came out. Like it did something to it, and it just almost tasted like I was getting into like Fig Newtons. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm smoking a Gilded Age by Gloria Cabana. It's a sweeter but spicy cigar, like red pepper flake. I'm getting a little bit on the first third. So prepared nice because I was getting big notes of vanilla and berry, almost like a blueberry from your whiskey. But then it finished with that nuttiness, almost like a toasted almond or something like that. There was like a nice roasty toasted.
Yeah, I get a lot of toasted almond.
Yeah, it's like a nuttiness, but it's not peanut at all. It's definitely some kind of almond or walnut or something like that. But yeah, there's definitely dark berry notes right in the mid palate, which are fantastic. But yeah, I get a lot of just like pure vanilla up front. I say that I use this note a lot, but those vanilla Tootsie Rolls, it's not really like, vanilla that you cook with. It's like that candy vanilla, which is delicious.
Paul mentions those damn vanilla Tootsie Rolls at least once every 2 episodes.
It's a delicious like vanilla taffy note. It's not.
They're fantastic. They're really, really good.
And it's a note on its own.
Overlooking, but they're great.
Yeah, and it's a note on its own. It's not like vanilla icing or vanilla extract. It's it's its own vanilla category, which I get a lot right off on the palate on this, which is fantastic. How long did you say these age for?
This one's 1
year, 1 month.
Wow. I mean, just to get the color off of that and
the way the M is written on the back of this bottle, I see it says 1.1 MOS now that I'm looking at it, but the M kind of looks like a 4, and I was getting cross-eyed because I thought it said 1.14 years, and I was like, how do I measure 0.14 years? I don't.
It should be actually YRS. It should be years. It should be 1.1
Oh, okay,
years.
okay, yeah. I get that now. Yeah, that's I'm stupid.
Yeah, I mean, for only 1 year to get the color that you get and the complex,
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
the flavor.
So we use 5-gallon barrels right now.
Mhm.
That's how we're able to do that.
Okay. Yeah,
So
you
small
get
barrels,
the
hyper aged.
smaller barrel, but the greater surface contact there with that smaller barrel with the amount of liquid that's in there, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't even like a lot of times with those smaller barrels, you kind of get like there's a note to them. Like you could tell it's in something. I wasn't getting that. And you're not really getting too much of the youthfulness for it only being a year old.
Right.
Which is crazy because I said there's distilleries I've been to that are putting out a year or two in small 15 gallons or whatever. And there's just like that youthful with that mini. You there?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Mm.
Y'all just froze up on me.
So yeah, I was saying that a lot of times with distilleries doing smaller barrels with young whiskey, that are producing young whiskey, it puts out like this youthful with this like I don't even know what kind of note it is, but it's like a small barrel note. Like you can tell it's not like the full. I don't know exactly what it is. You could there's that taste, and
to me, it's like a younger wood. Like it doesn't go oaky. It's almost like a green wood type of note that you get. It's like a grain, but yeah, and you can usually pick that out, and it's either young or a small barrel. But it's
not coming through. It's not coming through at all with this one.
Whatever you're doing it right.
Now I definitely don't get a level 3 char on this. It's more like a toasted char for me because especially because of the cigar. But when you look at it, you can definitely tell that it's not obviously it's not a toasted char by looking at the color of this. I have a 5-gallon barrel sitting right next to me with nothing in it. So if you're interested, I will loan you this barrel for a discounted price on the liquid that you put into it. But
we're actually moving away from the 5-gallon barrels. Our first batch with Neely was 15-gallon barrels, and that's what we're moving towards now. Is all 15s going forward.
Nice.
Hey, Royce does some amazing things with some grain and water.
That's another distillery that I don't pick up that small barrel note from.
Paul.
Yeah, no, Royce is great. He's great to work with. He's a wealth of knowledge. So we're really lucky that they opened their doors to us at all.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that hates absinthe. I hate it. You either love it or you hate it. There's really not an in between. And I absolutely hate it. And Paul sent me some of the Neely family absinthe, and I could drink that all day. That is, I could drink it on ice during the summertime. I could drink it straight during the wintertime. I wish it was a little easier to find. It is absolutely fantastic. And anybody that has the crafting chops to be able to produce an absinthe that I will drink, they've got my respect. Same with gin. Stephen Beam, Yellowstone, right?
Yeah.
He made a gin, Bowling and Birch. I love it. I spent a lot of my time in my life smoking weed, and the preferred snack of weed smokers to some degree is Fruity Pebbles, and that's what it tastes like. It tastes like liquid Fruity Pebbles.
Wow.
Major respect for Neely. They do their bourbons are great. It's all great. It's all really good stuff. Really cool history there. and it's awesome to hear that you're partnered with them because, um, it never hurts as a small business. I've got two businesses myself, um, so I'm speaking from experience. It never hurts to have somebody that is involved in the business that you're involved in that's willing to, grab you by the hand and pull you up and elevate you and help you and those types, give you their knowledge. Um, and if my dream would be to be in your business. I love bourbon. That's how we met, was through bourbon. They love bourbon. We have collectively more bourbon than probably any bar in America. Um, but to have somebody to impart that knowledge to you, that would be invaluable. That would be something. I mean, just the dream of being in the industry would be one thing, but having those folks that could give you that knowledge and pour that into your head, that would be insane. So that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it is great. I feel blessed that they not only help us out but are so open with their knowledge and everything. So it is pretty great.
We need to try to get Royce on here. I don't know why it's been so long. We've been going for over 2 years, and I don't think that we've reached out to him and asked him to come on here, and I don't know why.
My God, good luck, man. You got to nail his feet to the floor to keep him still. Man, he's always moving.
I mean, I understand that. Believe me, I do. In ways that I'm not going to get into here. But so, get back into the questions. Your wife, what capacity does she have within the company? What's her role? That kind of thing. My wife's involved in our business. I'm sure yours is as well.
So everything that you see is her. All the social media posts, our website, all of that. She's designed everything. She makes all the graphics that we use, takes a lot of pictures that we use. I try to take pictures. I'm not very good at it. So she does all that. She also helps just with like the words on the social media posts. I don't know if you followed us on TikTok or not, or on Instagram. She's made a lot of these cocktail videos with our bourbon. Basically, she runs all of that stuff, all the visual end of it. She also helps out just, in general with the bookkeeping and making sure that the business side of it is run smoothly.
So she's the right brain of the organization. You're the left brain, pretty much, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's that's cool that you guys can put that together like that and work together. Oftentimes I hear that husbands and wives have struggles working together, and my wife and I just ventured into ours, and I'm hoping that that's not a struggle that we end up having, and I hope that for y'all as well. Do y'all have any children?
Yeah, we have one child. That's why she's not on with me right now. She's taking care of him.
Okay. I don't know why.
How long this lasts, she may come down and join us. I don't know, because it's bath time and bedtime for him right now.
Sure. Do you have aspirations to possibly hand this off to him at some point in the future?
That would be the goal. Like I have so many ideas for this that I know I will never see happen because, bourbon takes forever.
Mm-hmm. What about,
but I'm hoping I can set some stuff up, and eventually we'd love to have our own physical location. So I'm hoping that we can get that going, get stuff aging, and turn it into something that I can hand off to him.
Okay.
That would be the dream.
Technically, if you want to get truly technical about it, bourbon doesn't have to take forever. It only has to touch the inside of the new charred oak container. So you can pull it on out of there, and depending on the new make that went into the barrel, it may or may not taste like shit. I've not had the, I do want to get my hands on a bottle just because in my younger days in college, I drank a lot of Pabst Tall Boys. Some friends and I had a party one night, and we went to a liquor store in Richmond, Kentucky, and we bought the store out because they had cases, 24-pack cases, actual cases, on sale for $5. We bought them out, 40-something cases, and when we woke up the next day, we were able to cobble together one case. So we drank, we drank 40-something cases that night. It was a big party.
And we lost him.
It was about a case to a person with a lot of Pabst. So anyway, I would like to get my hands on a bottle just for the nostalgia of it, but I'd like to have one to drink as well, and I'm sure it tastes awful. But I like what you got going on here. I like, the amount of time that you're leaving it in the barrel. It'll be interesting to follow as far as the 5-gallon barrel versus the 15-gallon barrel, and your ability to gauge, what's coming out. That's what's really interesting to me is you don't have a chemical engineering background. You don't have like a sommelier background. Really anything that might lend itself to it. You're just using your palate and knowing what you like, and that's really cool to me. Because what you like is what I like, clearly.
Yeah, it's my palate, what I like. But also, I rely on a lot of the knowledge of people who have come before me. If you read a study, it shows like 5-gallon barrels should sit there for about a year. Okay.
Sure.
Like that bit of homework has been done for me. So, and I definitely tasted it throughout the year and saw how it was and everything. And yeah, definitely, like, it was kind of weird between the 8-month mark, or not 8, like 8 or 9 month mark and the year mark. The difference was just like astounding. And it's like, oh, this is ready now. This is good. But yeah, so it definitely helps to rely, you can't come into this thinking like, oh, I know everything. I went on a few bourbon tours, and no, I mean, like, the homework's been done for you. Don't kill yourself trying to figure it out.
That's one thing I don't think a lot of people realize is that, 200-300 years ago, it was not quite 300 years ago, 250 years ago, when the country was founded, 1776, home distillation was not a problem. Farmers were moving across the country. They had their own stills because they couldn't take their crop with them, so they would distill it, use it for currency. They'd use it for medicine. They'd use it for drinking, for damn sure, across the country. And back then, they didn't know shit. They were still pooping in holes. They thought that you had ghosts in your blood and you should snort cocaine to get them out. And I mean, they didn't know anything. They might as well have been cavemen back then. I mean, they were, but they knew how to distill. And the process is not any different now.
No.
We have more sophisticated equipment, more sophisticated ways of building the stills. We've got digital readouts and that we don't need. If it weren't for mass production and demand, we could literally still run the bourbon industry on a turnip still and a condenser, and it would be the same process now as it was back then. And that's crazy to me. That, and it goes all the way back to I can't remember, but in the BC's distillation in Mesopotamia has been found to have occurred, and they knew back then how to make it happen. Now it wasn't alcohol back then. It was medicine. It was essential oils, those types of things. But it's the same process, and even now you can own a still for the purpose of distilling water and distilling your own essential oils. But way back then, they knew how to distill, and the process has not changed for thousands of years. And that's really cool to me because that's I'm a big history buff, and that's one of the few things that has essentially remained unchanged in its success for thousands of years, and it has evolved to a degree with humans as we have evolved, but the basic process of it has been essentially the same across thousands of years. It's very cool to me.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, man, you got to use the knowledge and resources that you have. So like you said, it hasn't changed in thousands of years. Just doing that research can help you so much, understanding it and everything. I mean, yeah, we figured out some more tricks of the trade and whatnot as we've gone forward, but when you boil it all down, you got to get to that essential process, and that's what's important.
So moving forward, do you have any plans to venture outside of just bourbons? Any other spirits, or kind of that's your focus now? It's just bourbon whiskey.
Right now, our focus is bourbon. We've discussed other spirits, possibly doing a rye. It's just the biggest thing is that would require a lot of research into rye because I don't want to make the rye that everybody else is making. We do purple corn bourbon, then we got to find some kind of rye that's going to stand out on the shelf. So everything that we do, at least in my vision, everything that we do is going to be some kind of specialty grain. It's going to stand out because there's just too much on the shelf right now that's all the same thing. And that's what we want to move away from. We want to be different. We want to be different but good. But yeah, so I've done some research. It's a little, with Google so far, that's about it. I need to actually sit down with a farmer, someone that knows this stuff. And we need to find a strain of rye that's going to be, hey, this is a special rye.
Yeah, that would be awesome if you would do that, because we're always looking for special ryes. Rye's my favorite.
We're very big fans of rye whiskey. All three of us are. Paul lives in Maryland, so Paul has access to all of the best ryes. Which, by the way, Paul, I did try that Rittenhouse single barrel, which I don't have access to that particular single barrel, but I do have access to Rittenhouse that's made by Heaven Hill. But holy shit.
Yeah, I got to go. I was there the other day and they still have it. I got to go pick up another one because I'm almost out of it.
What's the cost on that?
I want to say it's like 30, 38 bucks, 40 bucks.
Do you want to pick one up for me too?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
that holy shit. I'll find a way to make room for that and the batch 4 if I can find them. That shit was fantastic. But we're really big fans of rye. It was something that I walked into reluctantly. A friend of mine that's a big bourbon guy, he's like, you got to try this and this and this, these ryes. I was like, it's not bourbon. I'm not doing it. Well, I started with Old Forester rye, and I never looked back. And that's one of the best, to me, one of the best ryes out there on the market. You can find it anywhere. It's 35, maybe 40 bucks for a liter. Consistent. It's great. So if you guys want to produce a rye, if you want taste testers, I don't live that far. Do you?
I'm not a big rye fan, so honestly, if we did do a rye, I probably would have to bring in some taste testers.
You got 3 right here. I don't know. It has my brain going. I feel like the purple corn with some rye would be fantastic. That if this little sample I have has anything, or if I learned anything from purple corn from this, it's sweet, a little bit of earthiness, that peanutty, or not peanut, but like nuttiness to it. I feel like would go really well with a rye grain. Kind of, you got the floral notes, the spicy notes from the rye, and then you got like that sweet and earthy from this one. I feel like that would go real well together.
Yeah, I have thought about if we did do a rye, we'd probably do it similar to like Woodford. You know how they have some corn in their rye, so we probably would do that. I don't know what the mash bill would be yet. Maybe like 95.5 or something like that, or 93.2. Get some malt in there. Or malted
I would
rye.
suggest getting some barley in there because rye can be finicky.
Yeah.
So I would definitely, and it likes to clump up together a little more than corn, but I would definitely suggest getting some of that barley in there for the amylase. I have found through my own research, reading on the internet, that rye doesn't work real well with, a bag of amylase enzyme. It works better with the malted barley. So even a 1% in there for the malted barley. Barley really doesn't lend a whole lot of flavor to your mash bill, right? It's more for the, unless it's just straight barley.
You didn't try batch 2.
Oh, I didn't. You're right. I tried.
Believe me, batch 2 was 80% corn, 5% rye, and 15% barley, and it was was its own beast.
You're taking the spice out. You're taking the floral notes out. So I could see how that would have, but for the most part, as far as most bourbons go, anyway, they've got a lower barley content, I guess is a better way to put it, so that it doesn't really affect the flavor of it so much. But if you were going to do a rye, and you wanted to put corn in there, just my suggestion, I would say do a smaller amount of the rye, of the barley, and put the corn in there for the sweetness. But you're going to have, personally, I find a lot of sweetness with rye. I like the spice. So when I look for bourbons, even my favorite bourbon of all time is Wild Turkey 101. It's a classic. It's hard to come up against the big boys. Paul's is Jim Beam White Label, and Jerry's a big Maker's Mark fan. He likes the Weeders. I like the rye bourbons myself because I like the spiciness of it. And I like the floral notes and things like that. So a lot of rye drinkers are going to be looking for those floral notes. That's just me spitballing here, just giving you suggestions. Of course, you've made this fantastic bourbon, so I wouldn't presume to tell you your own business. But like I said, just a suggestion.
No, definitely. Like I said, it's something that it's going to require a lot of research. And honestly, like if we did do a rye, we'd probably do it just like the bourbon. We'd start one with we'd do one batch, 95.5. We'd do another batch with 3 grain. We'd do another batch that was, maybe only 80% rye. We would mess around with it same way and find out what people like the best. That's just, I find that that's the easiest way to do it. And, it gives some people some excitement because they feel like they're part of something when they're taste testing basically for you. And again, you got to let it age. So I wish you could produce this stuff in just a gallon and taste test it that way and then go for big, but it just doesn't work that way.
Well, again, I would like to offer my services. I don't live too far away from you, so I would be willing to drive to you. You don't even need to spend money on shipping, and I'll do it entirely for free.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I, I'm confident in your ability, and that's saying a lot because I've been drinking bourbon. Forgive me for asking, but you're how old are you?
34.
Okay, so I have been drinking bourbon for I'm sorry, 2/3 of your life. I'm 42. I've been drinking bourbon since I was 19 years old. I've drank a lot of bourbon in my lifetime. I'm surprised my liver is still alive. Uh, I have literally a ridiculous collection, as do these two, and they're the same way. They've drank a lot of bourbon. You know, Jerry's a little bit younger than you are. Paul's right around my age. They drank a lot of bourbon. For you to be in this game for as short amount of time as you have, and to be able to produce something this good, I have nothing but high hopes for you and for your company. I've been sitting here for an hour. This is my third glass that I poured of your bourbon. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic, and I can only imagine that anything else that you're going to produce is going to equal this, or if not exceed it. It's a great product, and you guys are doing some fantastic things.
Thank you very much.
Now, with the purple corn, you said you picked that because you wanted to try something that wasn't really out there. I'm sure you've done the research. I was just trying to Google quickly because I think I've only ever had one other purple corn whiskey before. Is there any other out there that are small distillers using that purple corn right now? I assume there's got to be a few, but none that I could even Google.
The only one I know is Iron Root in Texas. They apparently use a purple corn in a blend of theirs. They do not just do straight purple corn bourbon. They blend a few different ones together. That includes a purple corn bourbon. That's the only one that I know of. That's why I've had to amend our statement from the only purple corn bourbon to we're the only production purple corn bourbon on the market.
Yes, the only one I've ever had was I had to Google it to remember the name because it was so bad I tried to forget it. But it's a Mexican whiskey called Sierra Norte, and they put out a lineup of a red corn, like each different corn variety. So you could try a white, a yellow, a red, a purple, and I thought that was really cool a couple years ago when I saw it. So I tried them, and I wish I had my money back. So I guess you got to do it right to get what you're getting because it's not just the grain. It's a magical thing that's just making great whiskey. So it can be done the wrong way too, I guess. But yeah, I'm like I said, I've Googled it. I can't come up with anybody else who is using that except this Mexican whiskey and you guys. So
yeah, that's all I know of them, but they're not a bourbon, so I don't count them.
Yeah, and they're not even in the States. So yeah.
And then, like I said,
I've only seen them on the shelf in one store a couple years ago. That's the only time I saw it, and I thought it was kind of cool. And yeah, I wish I didn't walk into that store that day.
And then, yeah, like I said, that other one. But again, they're not just selling their purple corn bourbon; they're using it as a blend.
Well, that's pretty cool to be, the only ones really making it with the predominant grain as that purple corn and it coming out this fantastic. So. Keep your secret. Keep putting it out.
That's the thing. I don't have a secret, man. Right. We keep everything transparent. It's just I think the quality of grain that we get is exceptional. It's American grain. It's not Mexican grain. No offense to Mexico or nothing, but it comes from Montana. Good old America. So. And it's actually, believe it or not, the purple corn that we use is considered a superfood. So you guys are drinking healthy bourbon right now.
There you go. That's all we need to hear.
Yeah, I'm definitely worried about whether or not my bourbon's a superfood. That is good to know.
you said you got batch 6 out now. What else have you laid down? You said you laid down some 15s. Is that batch 7, or how many batches do you have aging right now?
We have the last batch we made was batch 11.
Oh,
but that also includes the gaffer collection and the 15-gallon barrels. So we're hold on one second. I got my notes here. I can tell you exactly how many. Yeah, we have batch 11. So 7, 8, 9, and 10, and 11 are all our normal Didymium bourbon. And then I guess technically we actually have 12. The Gaffer collection is I didn't count that as a batch. So that's batch 1 of the Gaffer collection. So that's 12.
and I think you said it earlier, but what was the mash bill in the Gaffer collection?
63 corn, 20% amaranth, 10% rye, and 7% malt.
And when can we buy that?
I think you said like a year at least.
That
you haven't
one
tried it yet, right?
No, I haven't even tried it yet.
I don't know how you do that. I'd be in there every day.
Every day.
I probably wouldn't even have much left in that barrel. If you did a one-off barrel, I'd probably drink it throughout the aging process.
I am actually going to be so this is like a little secret. That Founders Club that we talked about earlier, we had 5 gallons of the Gaffer collection left. So I have that sitting in a 5-gallon barrel that'll be ready next August.
Very cool.
And the actual Gaffer collection will be released to the public in, I want to say, May of 27. But I gotta double check. I don't have that one written down the right way for some reason.
So when I was looking on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, just kind of feeling you guys out the other day, I noticed a barreled aged honey from you guys. Any thoughts on doing a honey finished bourbon?
Yes, definitely thoughts on that. It's just because we work with other distilleries, I just got to work around their schedules and whatnot. But we have considered, because this stuff here, we dumped our barrel and then filled it up with honey, and then we're debating. Unfortunately, that barrel leaked pretty bad, so we don't want to use it again. But if we have one that works, we want to then dump the honey and then fill it back up with bourbon.
What kind of honey were you using, or is in that bottle?
It's just wildflower honey, whatever the bees bring back.
Because I love honey, whether it's barrel aged or whatever. But
this stuff's delicious.
I've had a few different honey finished bourbons I wasn't a fan of. Honey finished rye is a little different for me because I think the floral note from the honey and the floral notes from the rye kind of work together. But for me, I think there's only been one honey finished bourbon that I've actually enjoyed. But is there a way that we could possibly get some of that honey?
Oh, definitely.
Or is it only in Kentucky right now?
No, that's easy to ship that out.
I'll send you an email after this.
Because the fruity notes of the bourbon really mixed into the honey. So it's really unique and delicious.
Yeah,
Local.
local.
Where does the honey come from? I'm sorry, Jerry. You might have been getting ready to ask this. I heard you say local. Where does the honey come from?
It comes from Beattyville, Kentucky.
Beattyville. Yeah. It's because you're not from Kentucky originally, so it's Beattyville.
I'm not.
It's Beattyville.
All right.
Yeah. It's I don't know why. I'm not from that part of the state. I'm from Western Kentucky. So a little story. When I moved to a town called Corbin, this fella said, "Hey, it wasn't Beattyville. It was when you pronounce it as it's spelled, it's pronounced Barberville." Okay. He said, "Y'all want to go to Barville, Cruiser Square?" I said, "No." He said, "You don't want to go to Barville and Cruiser Square?" I said, "What did you say?" Repeat everything he said. He said, "You want to go square and cruise? You want to go to Barville and cruise the square? No, slow it down too." Y'all was replaced with Ewan's, which if you watch Moonshiners, you'll hear him talk. You'll hear him say that a lot. And then Barville is Barberville. They leave out 4 letters when they pronounce it. And but yeah, anyway, Barville, Babel, that's how they pronounce it over there. So anyway, yeah, Babel.
Yeah, it comes from it's this couple down there that they retired and the husband started keeping bees. So we started working with them, and like I said, it's whatever the bees bring back. It's raw, fresh honey. It is not farmed. It's not like a production farm, or the bees aren't kept in a certain area to only get like a certain flower. It is whatever they go out and find and bring back.
Yeah, we have. I think they did it. I'm sure they're still doing it. I just haven't noticed. But for a couple of years, we had a local distillery and a local, what are they called? Apiaries, I think they're called. Basically swapping barrels and honey back and forth. And I got at least 3 bottles of the honey in it with the different whiskeys and different types of honey. And it's fantastic. They did I don't know how they really did it, but they did like a blueberry, like brandy whiskey. One, I think it spent time in blueberry brandy and then their whiskey and then it was fantastic. Like I just take the top off and just chug it, kind of like was that Super Troopers with the maple syrup?
Yeah.
It was so good. And strangely enough, around here in Jacksonville, there's a lot of either local honey people or we got 1 or 2 like local apiaries. I love, like, it's fantastic, and it's some stuff that the honey's never going to go bad. So you could have at one time I probably had about 15, 25 different honeys in there. I'm like, it's never going to go bad because it's shit. They're finding honey from thousands of years ago, and it's still just sitting there like it's brand new. So yeah, I'll definitely get a hold of you either tonight or tomorrow, and
okay.
I'll definitely grab some of that honey.
I remember, speaking of honey, I remember talking to a guy one time who kept bees, and he said, all these people, I think it was at a farmer's market, and he's like, all these people want this like wildflower honey, and they want to show these beautiful, where your boxes are and things like that. He said, I get my best honey from the boxes that I have on a piece of property that backs up to a high school, because the bees eat the soda out of the dumpster, or that's their sugar source. And he said, the best honey I get is those high school boxes, what he called them, because they go in the dumpster and they pull the sugar from the soda left over in the bottles and the cans that they throw in the dumpster.
That's awesome.
Said, so the trash honey turns out to be his best honey. It's pretty funny.
Y'all talking about bees, it put me in the mind of a specific episode of The Office where Dwight's talking about putting bees in Michael Scott's office, and he's talking about his apiarist, which is somebody that keeps bees, and he's like, and Jim's like, "Do you have a good apiarist?" And he's like, "No, Jim, I have a bad apiarist."
What you're saying is I need to tell them to just like leave cans of Dr. Pepper all around their.
That's what this guy said. He said the best honey he would get, it wasn't from the boxes he had like on his property where there was like flowers and fruit trees and things like that. He said it was the boxes that he had on the corner of the property that backed up to a high school. They were all over the dumpster every day.
That's funny.
So you mentioned the Founders Club, and we talked about it a little bit before we started recording. You want to touch on that, and then the new, the new updated version?
Yeah, so basically we started the Founders Club because, I'll be transparent. I didn't start this with a lot of money. I had about $8,000 in the bank and went from there. I wanted to give people a way to get in on the ground floor with us as we grow. And it's a way for us to give back to people that support us as well as growing a little bit faster. So there's a lot of great perks on there, free bottles, priority like purchase, things of that nature. Like you'll get a email before anybody else, like, hey, this batch drops on this day. If you want to be there, you get, first dibs kind of thing. But we are this is blowing up faster than I thought it would. So we're actually looking for legitimate investors at this point. We're doing crowdfunding on something called WeFunder. It's minimum $100 to get in, and we are selling shares of the company. There are also perks on there that include like free bottles and dedicating like stuff to. I'm back. All right. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, there's some. Where did you guys lose me there?
You're talking about shares in the company.
Shares in the company. Yeah, there's still some like perks to being a high level investor that start at like $1,000. Obviously, like those people that really put a lot of money and faith into us, we're going to take care of them. That includes like free bottles, that like kind of priority purchase that I talked about, as well as dedication to them for the distillery when we get a physical location, brick on the wall, that kind of thing. So it's I should actually like pull it up, some of the levels that we have. No, it's not going to work. Moving real slow. Do it on my phone, it's faster.
Do you live in a Faraday cage like I do?
I'm sorry?
Do you live in a Faraday cage like I do, where
Oh, yeah.
you got to be in a specific place for your fucking internet to be worth the shit?
So yeah, it's very similar to the Founders Club. What we're doing, it actually does start at $100, get you that priority purchase. $500 gets you like a swag kit and a couple free bottles, and it just goes up from there. One thing that we have on there that I think will be pretty cool when we eventually get a physical distillery would be, we let you come in, you cook a batch, you do everything. It's like a week-long experience, and put it in the barrel, and that is your barrel. And every year you get to come pull a bottle from that barrel and compare. You can buy, or you get to take samples, buy a bottle if you want at that point. And when you call it, that is your barrel. You say, hey, this is good, I want to bottle it, bottle that barrel, and that's yours.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
And everybody can find out info on your website, I see right now, if you want to see all the tiers and all the perks, right?
That's for the Founders Club. For the actual investment, that's with WeFunder. We have to, I don't know the legality of us putting that up on our website. There is a link to it on our Facebook and our Instagram. But yeah, it's kind of murky on doing that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the WeFunder right now. So if anyone's listening and is interested in it, you could either contact the distillery or you could contact us and we'll send you a link to it.
Yeah, we're hoping, we want to build a community around ourselves. So we're hoping that these kind of things get people involved. There's a lot of fans of bourbon out there. So I like to say, like, stop being a buyer, start being an owner. We're growing by leaps and bounds. So it's a good opportunity to get in right now while we're small, while we're cheap.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. The price. So on Total Wine, they're selling it for $93 a bottle. For a small distillery, producing it in the batch sizes that they are, Ryan is right. That's pretty damn cheap. For your average consumer that's looking just for a mixer, don't. I'm just buy this bottle anyway. Just don't mix it. It's too damn good to be mixed. Don't worry about the price tag. Just don't mix this bottle. Um, it's a damn good bottle. The price is right. Don't let the price scare you away. Produced in very small batches by somebody that cares. Um, you know, High transparency on the bottle, which is very uncommon, even in the bourbon industry. Forget the fact that there's an age statement on it, and in that same sense, don't let the age statement scare you away. This is 1.1 years. Fine. It is fantastic. It's arguably the best bourbon that you're going to find on the shelf that's just over a year old. It doesn't meet the requirement to be called straight bourbon, but it's bourbon,
We're working on it.
I mean, you're getting there, right? But 1.1 years is for this bourbon. And if I thought it was shit and you sitting right there in front of me, I wouldn't care to tell you. I'm not, there's no filter between here and here. I will just say things. Don't let the age statement scare you away or fool you. This is a quality bourbon worth purchasing. Don't let the price tag scare you either. It's like you said, it's cheap. Cheap is a relative term, especially in the bourbon game. But when you're talking about the quality of the juice in the bottle, you could sell this for $120 easy each bottle, it would still be worth the price. We're not one of those podcasts where we focus on cheap bourbons or anything like that. We just focus on the quality. The quality is there. Very much worth checking out.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
what's the? You mentioned that almost there for straight. What's the oldest barrel you have right now?
The oldest barrel is going to be the Gaffer barrel that we have in the 15-gallon barrel, but the Neely batch as well. We're going to let that sit. We're going to make sure that hits the qualification for straight before we bottle it.
Nice.
Going forward, we want to be a Kentucky straight bourbon.
Going back to the Founders Club, I know we're flopping around. Is that still active with the other one?
It is. We haven't decided to take it down or anything. Like I said, it's kind of you get more perks and more stuff with the Founders Club than you do with the investment. You're gonna get more tangible
shares.
Yeah, you're gonna get more tangible items, things that you can hold in your hand. The investment is it is an investment. To put it bluntly, it's investing in us, hoping that we make you money. That's what it is. So yeah, there's not as much tangible, like you're not getting as many bottles, you're not getting as much, physical stuff in your hand as you would, but you are getting shares in the company. You're getting a voice, obviously with us, recommendations, things like that. It's going to be a way for people to, have a hand in this business that have always wanted to have a hand in this business.
So again, how can folks go about investing? Just for idiots like myself that have forgotten already.
It's a website called WeFunder, and I will be happy. I mean, we have a link on our social medias right now. I need to put a link on our website. It's called WeFunder. It's through crowdfunding. It allows you. Oh, yep. There's the link right there. Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah, I just threw the link in the little chat there so you guys could take a look at it.
And yeah, we're doing something called a SAFE. It basically is called future equity in the company. We are poised. I've been working with my business coach. We are poised to be $1 million company within the next 4 years.
Awesome.
Which is when that SAFE would convert to shares, and then it's hopefully just upward from there.
Awesome. Very, very cool. That's and good for y'all, and hopefully it continues on that same path, so that you can continue to expand and make this a more well-known brand. It's very cool. It's really like what you got going on here, and this product that you got in the bottle. Despite the label and the transparency and everything else, the product that you got in the bottle is definitely worth checking out. And it's funny, I've got 2 other bottles sitting down here next to me right now. This Climax Moonshine, if you've ever watched Moonshiners, the bottle is damn near the same shape. And then OCD number 5, which is a local distillery in Frankfurt, they have the same damn bottle shape. So
it's a pretty common bottle shape, yeah.
Looks like you're in good company there. Those are 2 quality whiskeys that I would, definitely say you're in good company. Excuse me, using that same bottle shape, but the really kick-ass label with the purple didinium. Did I say that right?
Didinium.
Yep. I will. Yep. I'll go with what you said, not what I said. That is that's a really cool label that you got there. Even the clear, I know you said it's a pain in the ass to put on, but it's still really cool. It reminds me of, and Paul will probably remember this as well. Way back when we were kids, there were cereal boxes that would have, gimmicks, Slimer from Ghostbusters or whatever the hell. And they would have super shiny labels on the front of them to kind of catch your eye. They'd have old school 80s holograms on the side of the boxes to catch your eye. And of course, it worked like a fucking charm. Every time I'd grab that damn box, I didn't care what it was, and that's what this does. So it's kind of like a big kid cereal box, as far as I'm concerned. I hate to reduce it to that, but it's not. And of course, I don't mean it in that way. But at the same time, it's just very. It catches my eye. It's something that I would notice on the shelf. And I'm guessing that once you do the screen printing on the bottle, it'll still have that shiny.
Yeah. So basically, let me use a full bottle. So basically, this is all. It's all going to be the same. This, all the white will be screen printed. This is going to be left blank, and then we'll put a sticker there. And that also makes it easier for us when we do eventually get other products, because every product is going to have a name. I kind of stole the idea from Rabbit Hole. They come up with really cool names for their products, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. That's why we went with Didimium. And I was talking about it earlier, that winter whiskey, I want to call it Molten Frost. I think that's pretty cool. My wife doesn't agree, but
no, I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I like it a whole lot. So tell your wife that right now she's outnumbered 2-1 on the name there. That's a really cool name. I've been to Rabbit Hole a couple times. Jerry and I have been there together. They do have some really cool names, like you said, and they actually just won Best Distillery Tour. So
yeah, I saw that.
So to kind of model some of your names in that way, not necessarily after them, but in the way that they do it, kind of, I think that's um, an advantage that you would have. I think that's a good idea. Um, I like molten frost. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's just water, but at the same time, it's awesome. At the same time, it sounds really fucking cool. Like
Doesn't it?
it reminds me of something from the one of the newer Assassin's Creed games, which I'm a very big fan of. Um, and yeah, it's really cool. I like that. So and when you get your own place, um, I think that you can expect that the three of us will show up at your door
Yeah.
pretty quickly. As soon as you're offering tours, you're going to see three bearded individuals that you might recognize from your past. We will be there. We're really looking forward to when that happens. And I have, no doubt that it will. This is great stuff. It's great.
Yeah, going back to the rabbit hole, not to plug other companies, but that tour is awesome. It's all like new age stuff. It like there's nothing wrong with the Buffalo Traces and the Jim Beams and the Wild Turkeys, and it's all like this still's been here for however long, this site's been here for however long. Rabbit hole, it's all like new age industrial, and it's just like you could see all like the pipes going underground, and all right, you see grain shooting across the ceiling and everything. It's just something you don't see at these, I guess, heritage brands or big brands out there. It's just something that they had to do to basically make their self different from everyone else, and it was something cool to see because it's like I said, you don't see it everywhere.
No, I mean that's the biggest thing coming into this is, you know, you got to stand out somehow.
Yeah.
If you're just making yellow dent corn and doing a 60 30 10 or whatever mash bill, there is a dozen bottles on the shelf that are the same thing.
Sure.
And it's it sucks, but like the market is saturated in that term. You need to do something to stand out. Rabbit Hole does that with their brand and everything. We try to do it with our purple corn, obviously. So it's important to stand out in some aspect, even if it's even if it's something small like the Field of Dreams bourbon. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
I'm a little mad that they didn't put on the bottle, if you distill it, they will drink.
There you go. There you go. That's right. Well, I mean, the purple corn does make you stand out. I remember when Jeff the Creed started doing the Bloody Butcher, the red corn. People were that's all they could talk about, right? So really, you just need the right PR company to help you get out there and let everybody know, hey, here's this bourbon. It's a purple corn, and I think that, and so I before my love of bourbon, I've always had a love of corn. I've grown up in Kentucky my whole life. I love corn, sweet corn specifically. Now, sweet corn makes a really good liquor, by the way. But when the sweetness tends to be affected by the color somehow, and I'm sure that has to do with the sugars that the natural sugars and all this. But when Jeff the Creed came out with the Bloody Butcher, everybody was talking about it. So you just need somebody to help you get this purple, because it is a little bit sweeter in my mind than the red corn is. And a lot of people don't like bourbon because of the spiciness from the rye and things like that. Well, this is a great bourbon to really introduce them to bourbons. They can explore from here. This is a great jumping off point, but not only that, it's a great bourbon for bourbon drinkers because it's something entirely different that I hadn't had until I bought this bottle. until I met you at Total Wine that day.
And I'm glad you did. I'm glad you got the bottle and that we met and everything. It's funny you say people are scared of bourbon because of the spice. I like bourbon because of the sweetness. That's what brings me to bourbon more than it does towards rye, is I like the sweetness that the corn brings in.
Okay. So what Jerry wants to know is, are you looking at producing a weeder anytime in the future?
Same answer to the rye question. Yes, we do want to do a wheated mash bill at some point, but again, the wheat has to be something special. It's just going to take time and research because we stand out with the purple corn. We don't want to just do purple corn and an average wheat. Oh, this is our purple corn with wheat.
Sure.
It's got to be some kind of wheat that is special in some fashion. Even if it's just something, like the wheat is smoked with a certain wood or whatever. It is definitely on the radar. Wheat, a rye. It's just we have to stay on brand with it. Is the best way to put it. We got to stay on brand with it. It's got to stand out. If I start putting out a wheated bourbon, it's got to say, it says here on the bottle, made with purple corn. Over here, it's got to say, made with, I don't know, wheat.
Purple wheat.
Purple wheat. Yeah.
I just looked it up. They have it. It's
Fuck. There we go.
Ethiopian purple wheat.
Crap.
I don't know.
I cannot imagine how much that'll be for me to get.
I was going to say, I don't know where you can get it, how much it'll be, but it's there.
I will call my guy.
You may not be able to find much different than Ethiopian purple wheat. I don't know how in the hell you can find any different than that.
I don't know. I'll call my green guy and see what he could do. He found us the purple corn, so.
Find purple wheat, purple rye, and purple barley, and
it doesn't necessarily have to be purple. That would help us stay on brand, but it definitely it just has to be, when you say rye, when you say wheat, most of the distilleries say like, oh yeah, we just get rye. Like, what kind of rye? Like, it's just generic rye, and that's same thing. It's just generic wheat, and that's what we want to avoid.
Yeah, there's tons of wheat varieties out there that, wheat was talked about in the Bible, for crying out loud. I mean, it's wheat is mentioned by name in the Bible. There's plenty of wheats out there that could be a possibility. The thing is how much is it going to cost you to actually get a hold of it? If it can be grown here, can you just get your hands on some seed and then grow it yourself? But then you have to have the acreage. It's a whole.
And I don't have that.
Same. I live in a what's called a city for Kentucky. It's barely. It's not much. Anyway, to be able to get your hands on it, I remember on a particular episode of Moonshiners, third time I'm referencing that show, they went to Pennsylvania, I think, to acquire a specific type of rye that George Washington used to make rye whiskey. Cool. I wrote that recipe down just in the hopes that I can find somebody that can produce it for me. But at any rate, if you could find the right kind of wheat that would strike your fancy, that'd be awesome. And the right kind of rye. If you haven't noticed, we're trying to nudge you in the direction. We're trying to make it happen.
Don't stop doing what you're doing, because this is fantastic.
Oh, please don't. Yes,
we want it all. Don't.
Yeah. Well, the problem isn't necessarily so much getting my hands on it. It could be more of a problem like with the I forgot already how to pronounce it, the triticale, where I have to order it in the pallet or buy the brick, more than, like, right now I order, my batch is about 1,200 pounds, of grain. Whereas, you know, they may say, hey, I can get you that. It's just going to be 5,000 pounds of it, which that's a batch size that I am nowhere near.
Yeah, if you could find some triticale in smaller quantities and do something with that, I'd be real interested to try on that one. Just because of the whole being a wheat rye hybrid, I think, like I said earlier, the one whiskey I had with it was fantastic, and it just brings a different element to the game, just like this purple corn does. And if you could somehow maybe combine them, if it works together, I think it'd be a fantastic product that'll stand out on its own.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's something I want to do for sure. Honestly, one thing I really want to experiment with, because one of my favorite bourbons was I think it was 2017 Woodford Master Collection, where they did a cherry wood smoked barley, and that was incredible. And I would love to see what a cherry wood smoked barley does mixed with my purple corn.
Yeah, that
would be awesome. That sounds really awesome.
Yeah, you bring some of that cherry notes that you get from that wood with some of those. I don't know what we were getting. I know I was getting like a fig style, and the other guys were getting
mixed together. Just
yeah,
perfect.
You get those different like stone fruit and different kinds of fruits mixing together. I think it'd be real nice. You just got to watch out for that smoke content. You got to watch how much you throw in there.
Yeah. I find that our bourbon has a little bit of a natural smokiness flavor to it, so we can't overdo the smoke for sure.
Yeah. So, to go on a little different route, do you remember what your first whiskey or bourbon was? Your first go around with it?
No, I unfortunately I don't. I remember telling you guys about that fall fashion cocktail, but I don't remember the specific bourbon that was used in it. I mean, I guess probably my first ever whiskey experience was probably like a Jack and Coke. But no, unfortunately, I don't remember that. I do remember in my early days of drinking whiskey, Woodford was like my favorite and my go-to.
That was gonna be my next thing. What was the first one to stand out to you?
Woodford for sure. It was my favorite back in the day. I mean, I guess it's still kind of my favorite. I'll never say no to a glass of it.
Yeah, that was when I first kind of started out with cigar. Well, actually, like getting into cigars and whiskey. Me and a buddy would go to a cigar lounge around here, and I would just go in and find a cigar I've never had before or never heard of before, and it was always Woodford on the rocks with a big cube in it. That was my like go-to every time before I actually started getting into it and realizing what other whiskeys are out there. Not saying that Woodford's bad, but there's a lot more out there that I would prefer.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff out there.
And at this point, I knew of the Woodfords, the Jim Beams, the Makers, that kind of stuff, and then slowly over time, I don't know what, 5-6 years later, I'm now drinking a purple corn whiskey and some red, white, and blue over there. So it's definitely evolved over time for me.
Yeah. I was the same way when I first started. I'd go in and be like, well, I've already had this and this. And back then it wasn't, 50 to 200 items on the shelf. Back then it was, you had your Makers, your Jim, and your Woodfords, and then it was like, oh, that one's different. Now it's like, how do I decide? Which actually brings me back to our bottle and our label. You've talked about how much transparency we have. That's why I did that, was to help us stand out on the shelf, because I know when I was trying new things and doing new things, it was always, well, what makes this special? Because I remember going into a liquor store and they're like, oh, we have this Kentucky Owl, and I'm looking at the bottle, but why is it $90? Nothing on the label. I knew nothing about the mash bill, nothing about it. I'm sure it was delicious, but I knew nothing. So I was like, all of that needs to be on our label so people know when people pick up our bottle and they can look at it and go, oh, this is really high corn. And I'm sure some people will look at that and go, not for me. And that's cool. But we wanted to make sure that people knew what they were getting in this bottle and what helps it stand out and why they should buy it.
Quick little
Yeah,
note on that Kentucky Owl. If it was the Dixon Deadman days, it was probably fantastic. If it was after he left and started 2XO, it was probably not as good.
I think it was when he was still there, but
I've got some Kentucky Owl. The what is it? No, it's not Prohibition. It's something else. $114 fucking for this bottle, and I wish that I could sell it back.
That was one of the first major releases after he left.
No, confiscated here with the company. I bought this before COVID.
And we lost him.
Yeah, he was getting all glitchy there.
Some of that early rye from Kentucky Owl was fantastic, but like you said, once changed hands, I think, I don't know if financial decisions were made or what, but it definitely.
Yeah, I remember for me it was the Prohibition, because I had tried it was, and that was good.
Confiscated,
and then they
confiscated was what $100 that I paid for this fucking bottle, and I wish I could sell it back to Total Wine.
You probably could have with their return policy.
No. I opened it. It was terrible.
I'm pretty sure you can return open bottles to Total Wine, or at least that you can now.
So. But the 2XO, I've had two different expressions of 2XO, and it's pretty good. The two that I've had, Dixon knows a thing or two. I'm not counting him, and I've had batch one of the Kentucky Owl. I've had batch one of the Kentucky Owl. That's real stuff. Really good stuff. I've had their rye. Really good stuff. The confiscated, not so much. But the 2XO, the two expressions I've had of the 2XO, yeah, really, really, really good. I like it.
Well, one of Dixon's mentorees is a gentleman by the name of Rutledge. I'm sure you guys have heard of him. He is a fantastic master distiller.
Oh, well, yeah. Anybody with the last name Rutledge that's involved in the distillery game right now, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Mr. Rutledge, please reach out and let us know that you want to talk. Big fan of Four Roses, whose former master distiller had the same last name. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, really good stuff. I can't, I've still got that bottle of the confiscated, and it sits way in the back of one of my cabinets, and every now and again I look at it with fond hatred. If that makes any sense.
You know what you need to do? Use it for cooking, man. That's what I do. Anytime I get a bottle I don't like, it becomes a cooking bottle.
See, the only bottle that I really have ever had, and it's got a really cool story, and I know you're not from Kentucky, but so Sam Houston, who founded, or who Houston, Texas is named after, I guess is a better way to say it. I don't know if it's founded by him. Anyway, he lived in Tennessee for a while, and back then when he was there in Tennessee, dueling had been outlawed in most states, including Tennessee, but was not outlawed in Kentucky. And there was there's a bit of Kentucky that dips down to a point into Tennessee. And the town there is called Franklin. I don't, or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Franklin. It's called Franklin, Kentucky. Um, anyway, there's a distillery there called Dueling Ground, and the
Yeah,
reason
I've tried
for
some of
it,
their stuff.
yeah, the reason for it is because folks from Tennessee and folks from Kentucky would go there to have their duels back in the day, and Sam Houston went there. I mean, it was a thing. Dueling Ground released a bourbon that was 2 years old, right around COVID, and I went and bought a bottle based on some friends of ours' recommendation, and it tasted like alcohol soaked banana bread. It tasted like you took some
Hmm.
pure grain and then just dipped a loaf of banana bread down in that shit and left it there for a couple of days and pulled it out and then ate it like a soup. It was awful. And I paid like $60 for that bottle, and that was back during 2020, late 2020, during COVID. And I remember that because that was the first. I've had COVID 4 times. That was the first time I've ever had COVID. uh, and and I couldn't taste anything. That's the only time I've ever lost my sense of taste and smell. And I couldn't taste or smell anything for 2 weeks. It was so weird. That's so weird. Like if I ate something sour, I could taste it on, or I could feel it on the side of my, on the sides of my tongue, but I couldn't taste it. And I couldn't smell anything. Anyway, because of that, I hated this bottle so much that I used it in hot toddies to make myself feel better during that time when I couldn't taste or smell anything because it was awful. It was so bad. I have heard amazing things about their 4-year-old bourbon. You know, I've heard awesome things about everything else that they produce, but that 2-year-old bourbon was one of the great. And I love banana bread. I love banana bread and I love alcohol. Otherwise, I wouldn't have this podcast that with Jerry and Paul here that we do every week. It wouldn't be a thing. But I don't love golden grain. I don't love pure grain, and I don't think that I would like alcohol soaked banana bread, and it was just the worst. So yeah, same thing. During COVID, that's when I drank it.
Yeah, I've only tried one product from them, and I will say it was good. It was good, but it was the oakiest bourbon I've ever had. It was almost like someone took a piece of oak, dipped it in the bourbon, and I was like sucking off the piece of oak. But it was good. It tasted good. I gotta say that. I'm trying not to, talk crap on any of my competition, because everybody's palate is different. There's only one bourbon that I've ever had that I would say is bad. And I don't care if you say it out loud. It was 13 Colonies. It was the worst bourbon I ever had. And and it wasn't just me. I let multiple people try it. I couldn't even hide it in Coke.
Do you remember which one it was? Just their standard?
Just their standard bourbon. This was back in like 2014, 2015. Maybe they've gotten better since then. I don't know.
Nope.
So
a difference of 7 years between when you had it and when I had that particular. Now the thing about it's a really cool. It's a wine bottle with wooden stopper. They've got the dueling pistols on the stopper. They've got it on the label. It's a nice pastel green with the gold trim. Everything about it looks everything about it looks awesome. But no, they haven't changed.
No, he was talking about a different whiskey.
Oh well, I'm stupid. I'm gonna shut up.
So 13th Colony had 2 bourbons. One of them I think was called.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff.
I think one of them was sour mash and the other one was just like a straight bourbon, and they got rid of the sour mash. So if I was to guess, it was probably that. Do you remember like what color label or anything?
Say it was like a yellowish brown
Yellowish.
or something like that.
I think that was their sour mash. They got rid of that one and kept all the other ones. I haven't had either of their bourbons, but I've had their their yearly release where they do the double dope cash strength, whatever it is that people go crazy over, and I like their rye a lot. But I haven't had their normal bourbon. But yeah, they got rid of that yellowish orange brown label. I want to say it was not long after COVID, like it was like 2021-ish, a couple years back. So I don't remember exactly who they were sourcing that from, but I know they were sourcing that one from somebody, and they ended up dropping it. So
Good.
That might have been the reason. They might have not had great reviews on it, but
have you had the rye?
I have not.
You guys have
the 13th Colony?
Oh, yeah.
That rye, that's the standard rye. I haven't had the cash strength, but the standard rye is good.
It's really good. I've got a bottle of that. Yeah, it's really, really good.
The only thing I don't like about it is the bottle shape. Those bottle shapes and the Old Forester birthday bourbon bottle shapes are terrible because they don't fit on the shelf, and it is like that.
They don't, and Willet's the same way, but they're doing it on purpose, right? Of course. Yeah. And I kind of like the 13th Colony and, you know, the birthday bourbon. I don't currently have a birthday bourbon on the shelf. I sold it, but I've got that 13th Colony rye up there. That it's really, really good. I do like the bottle shape. I like the bottle shape of a Willet too, especially the pot still. I like them just for shelf space. It sucks. Yeah, it does. You're absolutely right. You know,
it's got to balance it upside down.
Yeah, that's right. It's a really cool bottle, you know, which is always awesome, but you know it's expensive. You know that and Ryan knows better than we do to blow those style bottles. They're probably a hell of a lot more expensive than
I can only imagine.
I mean,
so it just popped in my head. I know we talked about it earlier in this episode about you doing glass blowing. Is there any thought of you or whoever else you do it with blowing some either rocks glasses or cocktail glasses for like a little one-off, like little here's 30 glasses, first come first serve sort of deal?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm not using it tonight. I'm using one of our that we had like mass produced glasses, but my go-to whiskey glass is one that I've made.
Yeah.
It's just I haven't had the time to get to a studio to make glasses. And again, the problem is a lot of this stuff is stuff that like we need a physical location, we need a gift shop to put it in. Because you could put it online, but it's hard, you know. It's something that someone's going to pick up and be like, "This is awesome," and go from there. We also have. I would like, if we get to this point, I would like to make like the first 100 bottles of our Gaffer collection. I would like to make the bottle myself.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
and that'd be like super limited release kind of thing.
We should put him in touch with Jay. With the so our buddy Jay down in Texas, he makes this thing called bourbon baggers, and basically it's char from the inside of a barrel that he puts into a tea bag, and then it adds some quote unquote age to your bourbon. And he reached out to us, and we were like, "Nah, this is bullshit." And then we tried it, and we're like, "Holy fuck!" Like we tried it. We did a toasted version of Elijah Craig next to Elijah Craig small batch next to an Elijah Craig toasted bottle, and the small batch with the bourbon bagger blew the toasted version of Elijah Craig out of the water. Blew it out of the water, and he has some gift sets and things like that also include simple syrup, but he's got these glasses, and the etchings on the sides of the glasses change from style to style or set to set, but they have a dimple on the bottom of them, so you can spin the glass like a fidget spinner, and it just and spins all around. And it's really really cool. So we should put him in touch with Jay, and they could talk about things like that. He's a glass blower, and Jay's got some really cool ideas. And those spinning glasses, I've got 2 of them, as do they, and they're just fun to play with. While you're drinking, just whatever, just spin that damn glass. It's cool.
It's my favorite rocks glass. It's so cool. Like I make old fashioned with it, and I put, I got the sphere ice makers that drop in, my cube, and you can spin that glass on the counter, and that ice doesn't move, but the glass is whipping around. It's really
That's cool.
It's like an adult fidget spinner with a whiskey reward.
It's so awesome. It's so awesome. Yeah, they're great. Paul was the first one to get them, I think.
And I didn't even realize. I just thought they looked cool because they have like nice cross etching on the side. They're like really, ergonomic, like the feel of them. And I didn't even realize with the dimple would just be so much drunken fun, just spinning your glasses.
I had to have some as soon as Paul told me about them. They're awesome. They're really cool. But yeah, I mean, since you're a glass blower, I don't know. I have watched the glass blowing competition show on Netflix.
I hate that shit.
If somebody's cooking a thing or somebody's, making glass or something, I'm going to watch it.
You got to tell us why you hate it. Is it so like?
Yeah, why do you hate it?
Like this all fake bullshit? Because we got to know now. Because
I'm not an artist. Okay, let's just put it that way. I'm not an artist. When they start, this represents like maturity, and dude, you made like a wonky bubble that any first year glass blower can make. You made something ugly, and you're saying that it represents this and that, and that's where they lose me. I love glass blowing.
Art.
I love to watch it. But when they start getting into this represents time and space, and it's like, dude, all you made was a bunch of balls.
Yeah, that's really stupid shit. But what I know is I can't do what you guys are doing. I don't have a fucking clue where to start. And at my age, I'm probably not going to take the time because I have too much going on already. But yeah, when they try to get existential about it and they're fucking little out there, and I don't want to hear your bullshit. Just don't just be I made this glass arrangement. Look at it, it's beautiful. Fucking leave all the other bullshit out of it.
To me, if you have to explain why it's beautiful, it's not beautiful. If you have to explain what it represents for someone to be like, oh yeah, I see that. No, like that's why I can't stand that show. I love watching glass blowing. I do. And like that part of the show is cool, but I just can't stand the confessionals and the like, I made a this and that. It just makes my skin crawl. I get so much cringe from that.
Yeah, I could see that. Still, I could go. There are glass blowers around here that do live demonstrations and things like that, and I could see going to watch them, whatever. But it's really cool. I mean, it's really fun. So how did you get into glass blowing, and how long have you been doing it?
So I got into it. My dad took me to Disney. I don't remember exactly how old I was, but he took me to Disney, and they have a guy who comes out like every hour and makes something. And he came out and he was making this Mickey Mouse bowl with like buttons and little feet, and I was just transfixed. I was just like it was the coolest thing I ever saw. What's that?
Out of glass, he was making this?
Yep.
Every hour.
I don't know if he made the same thing every hour or maybe it was every 2 hours. I don't know. He'd come out and he'd do a show.
But it was the same dude?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, like, the same dude every hour making some cool shit out of glass like that. That seems like a really demanding schedule. That's all I'm getting at. You know, that's cool. But yeah, anyway, I'm sorry.
No, I just don't remember because I mean we're talking 20 years ago,
Sure.
so or more. But
Still
I
awesome.
just thought it was like the
Still
coolest
awesome.
thing. My dad's like, "Come on, let's go ride a ride." I'm like, I want to watch this." Like I was just like locked in on it. So when I joined the Navy, I had some like downtime when I was in school, and my dad recommended because I was in San Diego. He was like, "Why don't you go um, look into this? You've always like liked it and had a interest in it." And yeah, I was 18 and I started taking like private lessons. And hello, cat. Um, sorry. Then yeah, I started at 18. I started taking private lessons and absolutely loved it. It was just as cool as I thought it would be.
Well, that's really cool. Do you have any aspirations at some point to design your own unique bottle for your products?
Um, Probably not anything too crazy, but yeah, definitely a unique design. I'm actually mad. There's a distillery out in I want to say Montana that they stole what would be like the perfect design. I can't remember their name right now, unfortunately, but I was like, that's exactly what I had pictured in my mind. But I can't I can't afford to do like 25,000 bottle orders right now, which is
Oh,
what you got to
sure,
do
sure.
when it comes to custom bottles. But yeah, it's definitely an idea. We want to move to something that the bottle shape will represent more glass blowing than what we currently have.
I would start with, if it were me, a premium line, right? That sells for a little more average than your average product does. Well, he's gone.
He didn't like your idea.
He's like, "Fuck you! I don't want to hear what you have to say."
There.
I got kicked out.
Yeah, but I would start with the premium line, and then move on to something more unique to your brand, and as it grew. But I'm spitballing here because I'm expecting big things from your brand, and if like I said, if I didn't, I'd tell you. It's a really good product that you've got going on here. How much uh, how much does your wife have to do with the tasting process? Is she as involved as you? Does she like bourbon the way you do?
She does not like bourbon at all. She says all the time that because she married me, she's tried way more bourbon in her life than she ever thought she would.
Okay, okay. My wife says the same, but she actually likes bourbon. So, but that's awesome. I mean, for us, that's a positive influence that you've had on your wife's life, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. What is she? Is she a vodka drinker or a tequila drinker, or does she just not really care?
She likes wine a lot,
Okay,
and surprisingly, one of her favorite liquors is sloe gin.
okay, okay,
But she's a big cocktail girl.
okay. I've always liked wine. We've talked about the gin. What about you before bourbon? What was your drink of choice?
Rum.
Okay,
Nice.
we're
That's
all
same.
rum fans.
I grew up in the Tampa Bay area, so that was one of the things. It was just rum. I don't know if it was the whole pirate theme in Tampa or just because it was sweet and I wanted something other than vodka, but I started out with rum and obviously it was the Captain Morgan, Sailor Jerry's and all that pirate and that kind of theme, and then realized real quickly, well, not real quickly, but eventually realized that pirate theme typically is not good until you start. Like there are some brands out there that are doing it and it's fantastic, but a lot of them are not. And
Bats
then,
and pirates, man. Stay away from them.
Yeah.
and then
Sailor Jerry, Captain Morgan, don't
oh,
do it.
I
Just
remember
don't,
back in
don't do it.
this would have been 2008 maybe. Went to a Halloween party and we were playing a card game, and that it should be drank with beer or seltzer or something. Well, seltzers weren't really around back then, but usually beer or wine. And we were doing it with Sailor Jerry. And yeah, it was the last time I touched that stuff, I'll say. But yeah, I started out with rum, and it just because of the sweetness, and got into bourbon because it was a little less sweet. And I think that's why I kind of transitioned more towards rye, is because you have the rums that are sweet, the ryes are more spicy, floral, and that bourbon kind of fits right in the middle. So that's between those three, that's 90% of my bar, and then there's tequila thrown in there too with a little bit of gin. But I think bourbon fits right in between that rye and the rum with that sweetness in there.
Yeah, I like the second time I ever got drunk, I was 17 years old. Some friends of mine that were of age bought me a half pint of Bacardi Silver, and I drank the hell out of it, and then thought it would be a good idea to watch the Blair Witch Project. And luckily, I figured out at that specific time that throwing 1 foot on the ground, flat-footed, would reduce the spins. And I've known that since I was 17 years old, and I just happened to find it out by accident. But
I've never found that works.
Yeah, do what?
I never found that works.
Really?
Yeah.
It's worked for me my whole life. Every time that I have puked, it's been because I didn't have my feet on the ground. And every time that it's worked for me, I had a foot on the ground. So I guess it goes by who you are. But that was a bad experience. I don't watch the fucking Blair Witch Project the first or second time you ever get drunk in your lifetime. Just don't do it. Yeah, and I actually met that guy a couple years ago. I worked security at a local music venue, and the venue had the after party for Scarefest here in Lexington, Kentucky, and he showed up, and he's a prick, and I don't like him, and he can kiss both sides of my ass. I'll show him where they are. He got off the bus, and he was just an asshole. And he was like, well, I got to go in here. Well, you've got the wrong lanyard on. You got to go around the back because you're a celebrity. Oh, well, I'm a celebrity. So kiss my ass because, whoever. I made the Blair Witch Project. I said, I don't give a shit. It was a bad situation. It made me look bad, but fuck him and fuck his movie, and don't watch it while you're drunk.
Real quick. We got we're obviously live right now on YouTube. We got the Smoking Tex chatting with us. And he said he's starting to get into well, first off, shout out to Smoking Tex. He's a great guy. He's I'm gonna get it wrong. The Smoking Texan podcast show or something like that on Instagram. Great guy to follow if you haven't already. Does a bunch of cigar stuff. But he said he's starting to get into rum, and he tried the Flor de la Canna rum, which if you haven't tried it, it's a pretty damn good rum.
Yep.
Especially like the what is it? Is it a 12-year?
Yeah,
10-year, something like that.
Kentucky. You can get that here in Kentucky for $45.
Yeah, it's cheap. It's a good one if you want to mix it, drink it straight, however you want to do it. So I just wanted to throw that out there since I've been chatting with him. He's trying to get his show up off the ground. He just kind of started here within the last couple months. I jumped up. He had a little live show going on Instagram at 7. So I jumped on there for 20-30 minutes before we started this. And then I'm guessing he just finished up over there and jumped on here, and he's been chatting it up on.
If he's looking for a rum, let's not discount for him because he can probably find it.
He's down in Texas, I believe. Obviously, with the smoking text.
Well, he can definitely find it. OFTD, 140 proof. What is that? It's not plantation anymore. It is Plantaray. Plantaray, OFTD, 140 proof. You can put that shit. You can put a shot of that. Let's work it out to fractions: 1/4 to 3/4 Coke, and in the summertime, and it'll do you right. It'll do you right, and it won't. It'll stand up to the Coke and the ice. It's fantastic.
And it's $30-something for a liter.
Yeah,
$30-something for a liter. The way to go every time. It is absolutely fantastic. Would you consider ever making a rum?
Possibly. I don't know. Right now, I really want to focus on bourbon.
Okay.
And whiskey.
Okay. Fair.
If I remember, it's all the you're working with Neely and what's the other one? Second
Sight.
Second Sight.
Second Sight. Yeah.
I looked earlier. They were making rum, aren't they?
They do. They make a delicious rum. Actually, they make with our bourbon in Manhattan. They use their smoked cherry rum and use that instead of vermouth with our bourbon. Oh my God. One of the best cocktails I've ever had.
It sounds absolutely awful.
But yeah, since if you keep which it sounds like you will, if you keep a relationship with them, and once you start getting bigger, because obviously the three of us know you are, it's fantastic whiskey. And I was on my buddy Brandon, he goes by Whiskey Weather. He has his own Discord page, and 2-3 days ago, someone in the Discord page posted an empty bottle of Fire and Flask. I was like, hey, wait a minute.
No way. That's awesome.
I was like, we're actually talking to the guy this Friday, and me and the girl, we were talking for a little bit, and I was like, it's fantastic. She goes, it is. So you got 3 people here plus yourself, and then at least her. You got at least 4 people that are pushing the stuff, and it's definitely something that needs to be pushed out. And so once you start going and getting bigger, if you're keeping a relationship with them, if you want to kind of keep, I don't know how you could kind of, I know rum doesn't really have rules per se. And if you want to kind of keep purple corn in that, you might be able to do some kind of purple corn rum or something like molasses with throw some corn in there or something. I don't know, just some kind of weird rum whiskey. I know there's a few distilleries that are doing like a whiskey rum like mesh
hybrid.
A little hybrid thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you keep a relationship with them, definitely I'd be interested in it. Like I said, I'm a huge rum fan. That's probably about a third of my shelves in there. So I'll have to see if I could get my hands on some of their rum to see to try it, because I'm always down to try new whiskeys and rums.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I don't know what it would be classified as per the government at that point.
Who was it? Shit, I'm trying to think. Is it I think it's Rolling Fork. They're out of they're based out of Indiana with Starlight Distillery. They house all their barrels there. And I think the story was Starlight was running their just different barrels out, like their batches, and there were some still left in the blending tank. And I guess the guys from Rolling Fork didn't realize it and dumped a barrel or 2 in there. So they had some, I don't remember I think it was rye whiskey with their rum, and they just said, well, it's already blended, and I guess they did whatever they needed to do with TTB and got it pushed through, and it ends up being a product that people liked. Like, it was just like
fortuitous union.
Yeah,
so it was just a mistake
cool.
that ended up working for them. I don't know how it's classified with TTB or anything like that, or how long it took them to get anything passed through with the TTB or anything like that. Let's mute him real quick because that garage door was loud. But yeah, that'd be, like you said earlier, you like to experiment with some things. It'd be something to be a fun little experiment there. Probably not a cheap one, but it'd be an experiment to mess around with.
It'd be worth trying, I think.
Like,
certainly worth trying. I'm always open to try something weird and experimental.
That's so what I wanted to bring up earlier, but it kind of the past time. But that's one thing I like the other whiskey I brought out here was the Chattanooga. One thing I love about them is they're a smaller distillery. They like to experiment and have fun with some of the wheated or the malted grains and stuff. So it's just they'll put out a batch of a couple barrels and kind of see how it goes. And so some smaller distilleries like yourself and Chattanooga and Neely's kind of one of them, a smaller one, they could experiment and eventually they'll, like, obviously you don't want to sit on product, but eventually it'll sell out. You're only making a couple, maybe a barrel or two of experiments. And like I said, it's nothing you want to sit on, but you have the flexibility to experiment with a barrel or two versus like a Buffalo Trace or a Wild Turkey, whose their experiments are probably a couple thousand barrels.
Yeah.
So, like, I know when me and Adam went to Buffalo Trace, we walked through the what do they call that one? The they have some kind of wood. They sell them. I can't remember the name. Paul, do you know? They sell them in like the 375s. It's like it's their like experimental stuff.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I can't remember what the name of it is, but yeah, we walked through it and there's just like, it's just a warehouse just of all these experimental barrels. And it's just like, holy shit. Like, if that whiskey sucks, that's going to be bad. Like, you got hundreds of barrels that you got to try to either sell or
blend into something
to make it taste better. So,
but you know what? At this point, Trace is so big though. Like, even if they put out a bad experiment, that's just content for you guys. You know, like,
well,
you guys are going to talk about how bad it was, and then you're still going to go buy a bottle of Buffalo Trace.
I guess Buffalo Trace wouldn't be the best. Example.
I put out a bad batch. I may never have that customer again.
You might go under.
Yeah.
Buffalo Trace, they could put out some. Well, they don't, but their owners put out a cinnamon whiskey that is terrible, and people still buy that shit.
Yep.
Buy it more than almost any other spirit on the market.
Buffalo Trace might have not been the best example because they put in their name on it. People are going to buy it.
They could even put on a sourced market. We have a horrible barrel that we can't do anything with. It's $3,500. Who wants to buy it? And people will be lining up.
No, you know what's even worse? Probably if you guys were to pick up like, let's say they did some experiment, it was terrible, and you guys just ripped it apart on your show. There's somebody watching that's going to go, a bad Buffalo Trace product?
Oh, yeah.
I need to try that.
Oh, and then it would be a collector's item as the bad Buffalo Trace product.
Yeah.
Or you'll have
secondary for fucking $300.
Or you'll have all the fanboys, like, they don't put anything bad out, and they'll buy bottles of it, even though it is bad.
And not even open it, but say how good it is.
And, yeah. They're sitting there, like, holding back the acid reflux and the throw up, like, oh, this is great. Like,
yeah, like the people who say they enjoy Malort.
Ugh.
No one likes Malort. That's
how is Malort in business? That's what I want to know.
Because people like me, Paul, and Adam buy it so we could give it to people that have no idea what it is.
Unknowing people, and see their reaction. That's why. But have you ever tried Jepson's bourbon? Because it's pretty fucking good.
It's good. Granted, they source it from MGP, so
it's not like their whole business model is bottling shit. Like their bourbon is also MGP, and it's a good product for $22 or something like that.
Also, that being said, you see they partnered up with Voodoo Ranger, the beer.
Yes,
and they put out I think it's a 6-pack. It's basically like a what do they call it? Like a Malort roulette. where there's 6 cans of
Oh
of
yeah,
beer.
I've seen that.
There's 6 cans of beer, and 2 of them are like Malort. It's like beer made from Malort or something like that. And I'm like,
I think it's this,
if I see that, like if I see that online to purchase or I see it in the store, I'm probably gonna buy it.
Oh, it's instant grab, absolutely. And that's their model, though. I mean,
and I'm gonna take a picture. There's 6 cans of beer. I'm gonna take a picture, and I'm gonna tell Paul and Adam, hey, you each pick 2 of these cans, and I'll send them out, and then we're gonna do it on the show.
That would be awesome.
What a great business model, just to make the worst stuff that you can ever imagine, and you sell out of it all the time.
I wish I could do that.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. That being said, I got a serious question, though. When you do get your own spot, are you going to be the distiller that you have? I mean, I'm sure you're learning the process and stuff, but said you didn't really have any background in it. So is that something that you're going to take the reins on, or you think you're going to just kind of be the manager essentially, but hire somebody with distilling experience?
I've tossed that question around myself a lot. Probably to start with, I'd be the guy. I mean, I've learned a lot. I'd probably go take some ADI courses as well, prepare myself as much as I can. But eventually, yeah, I mean, I see myself as more of a master taster than a master distiller. So I would, I feel confident enough that I know what I'm doing. Like, I have my little cheat sheet from the guys now who are making our stuff and what they're doing and when they add this, when they add that. So I feel like I could do it, but I also, we're so small. I would love to give someone an opportunity who maybe is like a junior distiller at another distillery, give them the chance to show what they can do.
Yeah. Now, are you going to continue? Does Second Sight, do they run a pot as well? Or
Yes.
So
pot
is that
still.
something you would keep that as a pot still?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there's just something classic about pot still, man.
I think we're all going to agree with you that I think you should stay on pot still. Yeah.
You get those oils coming through that you don't with a column or even a hybrid still, and some of those oils might not be the greatest, but if you're running that still right, those good oils are going to come through, and it's going to get into that barrel, and it's just going to mingle with all that, whatever it does inside the barrel, the magic inside the barrel, and it's going to come out fantastic. Which might be one of the reasons why I like rum, is just some of those esters and funky oils coming through from the distillation, whether it's a clear rum or lightly aged rum. You get some of those funky notes through it, and I don't know, it's one of those things, like, it just shows the differences between regions and rum, and you can kind of taste it with some bourbons and whiskeys, but there are a lot of column stills or hybrid stills, and that kind of strip a lot of that away. But the ones that are using the pot stills, you could taste it, and at least for me and the others on this call, for me, it's better. I like it better. There's more flavor.
I do too.
Better mouthfeel. Which I don't think we mentioned.
Classic about that.
Which I don't think we mentioned when we're talking about your whiskey. That mouthfeel is fantastic. Like, it's just oily everywhere. It sticks around for what seems like forever. Like, Adam sent out a little 1 ounce sample, and I was sipping on it and smelling it for a good 30-40 minutes, just because the oils and everything just stayed in the mouth, and I didn't have to go for a second drink, just because it was still lingering around. Which is one of the things I like to look for in a whiskey. I don't want to pull a bottle out and then drink it every 2 seconds because it just washed away. I want to be able to sit there for a couple minutes. Same thing with cigars. I want to be able to sit there for a minute and taste different things as it evolves in your mouth and in the throat and everything, and just see how it evolves. So just want to throw that out there.
I did Google Second Sight still while we were talking. That's a badass still. That crystal ball condenser is fucking incredible. I don't know if you guys can see that, but they had a crystal ball condenser.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is very cool. And the still
they do a
itself,
lot
I
of
mean,
stuff.
it looks incredible as well. It's got like the I don't know how to describe the cap. It's like the Zoltar.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what it looks like, a turbine.
Yeah, turbine. That's I couldn't think of the name. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool looking still. It's a distillery that's unfortunately folded last year. I was in Colorado a couple years ago to visit my sister and brother-in-law, and we went to I think it was 1350 Distillery. So 13 colonies, 50 states. It's a veteran-owned. Well, it's women-owned, teacher-owned, veteran-owned. Like it's all the owns. It's everything. All the owns that we want, like that we want to support. And they're still, they got designed where I'll have to find a picture and post it when I edit this. But the top of it looked like an artillery round. So instead of like the turbine or just like a normal like just ball, it was just like a point up there, and it looked awesome. It fit in with the whole military theme that they had going on, but yeah, cool. This Second Sight still, that thing looks
really cool,
almost futuristic with that glass condenser and everything.
Well, fellas, I think that about does it for another episode of Bourbon Beards and Belvederes. I don't really have any more questions, and I can't imagine that either of you do either. As always, we want to encourage you to check out this product.
Where can the listeners find you at?
So we're at Second Sight. We are also in Total Wines across Kentucky, as well as the Party Source in Northern Kentucky.
And their website is fireandflaskdistillery.com. And tell us about your socials real quick, please.
We're on, all the major ones: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's Fire and Flask Distillery on all of them. Easy to find us. I would say Facebook and Instagram are probably the most informational. That's where we put batch releases, things of that nature. TikTok is just me making stupid videos and having fun with it.
That's what goes viral, though.
And so far, none of them have, but we'll see.
Hey, you got to pay money to make it happen.
But the only thing we're not on is Twitter, because I don't know what to post about on Twitter. Hey, we made some bourbon today. Good job.
Fair.
I want you to start a Twitter, and I just want to follow it. So every couple days or whatever your distillation, fermentation. Hey, we fermented a batch. We distilled that batch. That's all I want to read.
Great stuff. Great products.
Yeah.
I can only look forward with enthusiasm to what you guys have coming down the pipeline. It's going to be amazing, I'm sure. So be sure to look out for Fire and Flask Distillery Bourbon in your local Total Wine, if you're in Kentucky, and for wider distribution to come, I'm sure. And then other products coming down the line as well. It's guaranteed to be fantastic. I'm now halfway through this bottle. I was not halfway through this bottle when we started tonight. As always, be sure to look out for your local veterans, any veterans in your family, veterans period. I'm still doing the push-up challenge to fight against veteran suicide. It's a problem. These guys gave everything for us, guys and gals. It's the least we can do to give back to them any way we can. And on that note, don't forget to donate to your local, to your favorite veterans charity, and send us confirmation of at least $5 donated to your favorite veterans charity, and that will enter you into our giveaway for a bottle of 10th Mountain Rye whiskey, a 150 count cigar humidor, and some beard products from Lit Beard Co., another veteran owned company, as well as 10th Mountain.
And some 5-pack. Don't forget the 5-pack from Monte de Leon
Oh yeah,
Cigars.
yeah, that's right. Which
5-pack. Is also
pack.
another veteran-owned company.
That's right. That's absolutely right. I did forget about that. That's my fault.
Shit,
so,
$5 right there for 5 cigars is worth it.
Right.
Right, not
that's
including the bottle and humidor and beard products.
That's right. So all you have to do is provide proof, and that gets you one entry, and then shares and likes get you another entry. However many times that you share and like.
Yeah, there's a post on the Instagram and Facebook, and it's been being shared every day. So be on the lookout for that one.
Yeah, definitely. Share and like after you provide proof, and you get as many entries as possible. And we've got these great products that we're going to send to you. Just for the cost of your donation. So you may win for $5, you may win for $25, you may win for $100. Who knows? Just make sure to donate to those charities, help those folks out, and on that same note, look out for children. Period, in your area, children that you know, whatever. The world is absolutely insane, and people have lost their minds, and we need to look out for those of us that are most vulnerable. So send in those donations, and we'll get those products out to you. Until next week, cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks
Ryan.
for having me.
Bourbon Beards and Belvederes is produced by Adam Bolden, Paul Rousseau, and Jerry Ullman. Edited by Jerry Ullman. Music by Ryan Johnson. You can find all of our links on our website at bourbonbeardsandbelvederes.com and at beacons.ai/Bourbon Beards and Belvederes. As always, enjoy your bourbon and cigars responsibly. Cheers.